I've played many roles before: a seductress, a confidant, a liar. But this time it was different. This time I was hired to play the most dangerous role of all: the woman who would test the limits of a marriage. My name is Mia, and my job is to test the boundaries of loyalty. I didn't expect to find myself tangled up in this story, but when I walked into that hotel room and saw Rebecca for the first time, it all began. It started that night when she asked me to meet her. I was sitting at the bar, dressed to kill in a tight black dress that left little to the imagination. I knew the kind of man I was supposed to be after: confident, powerful, and rich. But Rebecca was different. She wasn't looking for just any affair. She wanted a witness, a partner in her secret life. Her husband David was a wealthy businessman, respected by everyone who knew him. But behind closed doors, their marriage was something of an enigma. I knew my role was to seduce him, to see if he would take the bait, to prove if he could be as open-minded as his wife believed. Rebecca kissed me first, her lips soft but urgent against mine. She whispered, "He'll love watching us together." It caught me off guard, but before I could react, she led me to the bed. The sheets felt cool against my skin as she pushed me down. I could feel the tension in the air, the anticipation of what was to come. I had never done anything like this before. It was always me and the man. But now it was hard too. David stood in the doorway, watching us. His expression wasn't one of shock or betrayal. It was curiosity, desire. As she moved over me, I realized she was performing for him, for the thrill of it. It was a game they played, and I was just a piece on their board. I closed my eyes and let myself get lost in it, feeling her hands, her lips, her breath against my neck. And when he finally joined us, it was as if he had been waiting for permission. The next morning, Rebecca and I lay tangled in the sheets, our bodies exhausted from the night before. David had left for work, and she looked at me with a smile that was both satisfied and mischievous. "He loves it, you know," she said, brushing a strand of hair from my face. "He loves knowing I'm with other men. It excites him." This was just the beginning. Over the next few weeks, Rebecca introduced me to her world, her circle of lovers. She had a type: charming, handsome, and willing. It wasn't just about sex for her. It was about control, power, and the thrill of breaking the rules. Each time, David knew. He encouraged it, even set it up. He would sit at home knowing his wife was out with another man, and he loved it. One night, I met someone new, a tall, dark-haired stranger named Alex. He had the kind of presence that made you want to lean closer, listen more intently. Rebecca watched us from the corner of the room, her eyes gleaming with anticipation. "Show me what you've got," she whispered in my ear, before pushing me toward him. We spent the night together, wrapped in each other's arms, his hands exploring every inch of me. It was passionate, raw, and unlike anything I had experienced before. But what shocked me the most was Rebecca's reaction. She wasn't jealous, she was delighted. When I returned to her, she kissed me, tasting the remnants of my affair. David's going to love hearing about this, she said, her voice breathless with excitement. It wasn't always like this, though. There were moments when I saw through the cracks in their perfect facade. Rebecca wasn't just playing this game for fun. She was searching for something she couldn't find in her marriage. One evening, after another rendezvous, I found her crying in the bathroom. "I don't know why I do this," she confessed, her voice barely a whisper. "I love him, I do, but it's like I can't help myself." I wrapped my arms around her, feeling the tremble in her shoulders. I had never seen her so vulnerable. It made me question everything I had thought about them. Was this really what she wanted? Or she was desperately trying to fill a void her husband couldn't? David, on the other hand, was harder to read. He never spoke of his feelings, never admitted what this arrangement did to him. He only watched, observed, like a scientist studying an experiment. Sometimes I wondered if he felt anything at all, or if he had numbed himself to the reality of his wife's infidelity. But one night, everything changed. I was with a man named James, one of Rebecca's favorites. We were in the middle of our usual routine when David showed up, unannounced. He didn't say a word, just stood there watching. There was no anger, no jealousy, just a look of profound emptiness. When it was over, he simply walked away. Rebecca found me afterward, her eyes wide with panic. "He's never reacted like that before," she said. For the first time, she looked scared. I realized then that the game they had played for so long was starting to unravel. In the end, I left them both. I couldn't continue being a pawn in their twisted relationship. I heard later that they went to therapy, tried to walk through their issues, but I don't know if it worked. I doubt it. Some things are too broken to be fixed. As for me, I still think about Rebecca sometimes. Her laughter, her tears, the way she looked at me that first night in the hotel room. I'll never forget the thrill of it, the danger, the excitement. But I also remember the loneliness in her eyes when she thought no one was watching. I was sent there to test them, but in the end, I think they tested me. They made me question everything I thought I knew about love, fidelity, and desire. And I realized that some people can live with secrets and lies, but for others, they become the bars of an invisible cage. I wonder if they're still playing their game, or if they finally stopped pretending.